Joe Lopez, the famous Joe Lopez. Thank you, Joe, for coming on again. You got another big fight coming up. How you feeling?
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. It's always a pleasure. Well, it's always exciting, especially a big fight. And with the way the world is, I think we're pretty fortunate that we get to get out of the country and, travel and do what we do. So we're really excited about the fight, and Brian's, a good opponent, and yeah, we're looking forward to, the challenge.
Before we get into all the UFC stuff and training camp, I wanted to talk about PXC because the fight versus Yusuke Yachi, it came up recently, and I watched the fight again, and I noticed you were the only one in the corner for Alex. What do you remember about that fight? Because it was an incredible fight.
It was. That was that. No, I think that was the one I was in by myself. That was Dominic Reyes. Not Dominic Reyes. Kyle Reyes.
Okay.
Kyle Reyes. It was just me, and that's. I don't know if you knew about that incident. They oiled his body up, and Alex come back, and he was fuming, and I'm trying to calm everything down, and I'm thinking, man, what have we got ourselves into? They set us all up, thinking it was back in the old days of the Japan thing where they put a lot of money on this guy and they just wanted us to lose. And the ref got my towel to wipe the oil off him. And and I was just trying to keep Alex cool because Alex, he never gets angry, but he was angry, and he ended up beating him. The Yuzuki fight, that was one hard fight. That guy was very tough. Big man, very powerful, took a lot of shots. And at the end of the fight, now they're taking him away in an ambulance. He looked like the Elephant Man, seriously. And he looks at Alex, and we just went to wish him well. And he looks at Alex, he goes, I want a rematch. Oh, man, this guy's a Terminator.
Do you feel like that fight was somewhat of a turning point for Alex, because he was so young in his career, even though he was he was still sitting on that long winning streak, but that fight kind of brought something out of him. Do you think so?
Yeah, it did. It did. It showed him that, he could fight internationally and especially against a big, tough, fit guy like Yusuke, he was no joke back in his day, and he got the submission, he won by triangle, which is, at one stage when Alex first started training with me, he said, my legs are too short for triangles. And I said, no, if you get the right angle, you can triangle anyone. And I love to rub that back in his face,
Yeah, he was a big boy because he fights at lightweight now for Ryzen. And if you're fighting at lightweight and you're fighting at featherweight, that means you were cutting a lot. So, yeah, he's thick. Now, let's get into the upcoming fight, right? The training camp for you guys. I see that you guys have done the whole camp in Australia. You have a good, solid team with you. I believe Jamie Malarkey is training with you guys. You got Trent Girdham there. And what's the situation? Break down like how free it is for you guys.
Well, we can train freely here, so we've got no restrictions, not like some of the other states. We actually were going to Melbourne. We had our flights booked, hotels, and then they got shut into a total lockdown. So we sort of dodged the bullet there because we would have been stuck in a hotel room for 2 weeks without being able to get out. So then we decided, look, we better just stay in the state that we're in because, our Premier is pretty liberal and she lets us do what we have to do. And, because we're professional athletes, we get to be able to train as well, even if they shut amateurs down or other gyms down. That's our job and they let us do our job. So we're sort of lucky,
Definitely. You guys, this is your guys' second camp in a row in Australia. Well, you guys done camps before. It's just not under these COVID type conditions. What did you guys learn from the last camp that you've kind of made some adjustments in this camp?
Well, the other camp was a lot shorter and we were in lockdown. So, we had to get COVID tested every week. We had to have a little bubble where we couldn't go out. So we had a lot of restrictions on us where this time, guys can come and go. There's been different, we're not restricted on who can come in and who can come out of our bubble. So we've had a lot more variety of people come in, which is good. That's about it. Alex and I both enjoy going to different places and training with different people. That's always been part of our game, Unfortunately, now we've got to bring them to us,
Did you apply to head over to New Zealand? Because the last time I spoke to Alex, it was right before they announced the fight, and he said that he wanted to go over there to City Kickboxing for this camp, but it just didn't work out that way. What was happening?
No, well, they've got a different system to ours, you know, where you've got to apply for a voucher. We tried to get vouchers, but they weren't going to fall in the time frame. As you can see, you know, like, you know, Brad, Carlos, and Izzy got stuck in America for 5 weeks. Dan got stuck in, you know, in Dubai for God knows how many weeks, you know, which is really sad, you know, that these people have to, you know, spend that much time away from their families and then quarantine when they get back. So it's another 2 weeks. And it's making the whole, you know, for them in New Zealand so hard, you know, because you can't expect, you know, Hyon to go over for, you know, 2 weeks here, then spend another 3 weeks there if you can't get the voucher, and all of a sudden you're losing 2 months, you know, away from your family, away from your business. It's very hard, you know.
With the situation right now, the circumstances that you're under, does the training camp seem more? Does it seem like it's going a lot better compared to the last time? Because you guys can go home, you can spend time with your family. The other guys that are helping out in training camp, they can spend time with their family, go out and be free, and then come back. The attitude is different, do you think?
Yeah. You know, I think last time we were just, everyone was in a really positive vibe because we were actually allowed to train when everybody else was locked down. This time, I guess it's more about, you know, that, you know, we're still training. And what happened after the lockdown, we just got such a big interest, you know, people, I guess because people had been shut off from not being able to train, and not, you know, they really started to appreciate what they had. You know, a lot of guys signed up to fights, and we were just so busy with so many guys fighting, you know, because our you know, the fight scene's opened up here as well. So, you know, we can have fights with crowds and everything else. So it's really good.
How is Alex looking? You know, I gotta ask you that. How is he? Is he in fine nick? You know, like how he like to say, fine nick.
Yeah, yeah. I actually last week, you know, we were training, and we were training with no shirts on, and I looked at him. I went, "Man, you're looking pretty lean there." And I said, "Can you jump on the scales?" He goes, "No, my weight's good." And I go, "Yeah, I'm just worried that you look underweight, you know." But he's, you know, sitting at a really good weight, and, you know, looking like, you know, he's just about to fight. You know, he's really picked up on his nutrition, you know, and, you know, the fight dietitian's been great. You know, he came down, visits. You know, it's good. You know, and he's yeah. He's going really well. I'm really happy.
All right, let's get into the opponent, Brian Ortega. You know, he comes back after a really, really long layoff, and a lot is on the line in that fight against the Korean Zombie, and he comes out and performs a master class. You know, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that performance.
Yeah, it was a great performance. You know, you could see that his striking has improved a lot. You know, he was feinting more. He was you know, trying to get angles. You know, he wasn't just coming in, rushing in and hoping for the best, you know, like he normally does, or sitting back being patient, looking for the counter shot. He was actually setting his shots up, and he looked impressive. And as the fight went, you know, he got more and more confident, you know, and, power to him, you know, it was a great performance.
Definitely. Like, what are the glaring differences you see between him and Max Holloway?
Well, I think Max is on a different level of striking. You know, you can't take that away from Max. You know, as you can't take away, you know, Brian Ortega's jiu-jitsu. You know, and that's the difference. You know, they've been masters at doing one thing and the other. You know, the difference with Alex is Alex is an all-rounder. He's the complete martial artist. You know, he can strike, he can jiu-jitsu, he can wrestle. And he's got the stamina, the gas tank, and, you know, he's super strong, you know. So he's always he's going to be a nightmare for anyone, you know. And he's tough. So he ticks all the boxes there, you know.
With the narrative heading in, you know, especially with the last two fights, how they played out against Max Holloway, a lot of people are forgetting that Alex does carry some tremendous power behind his punches. Do you feel like this is the fight where he's going to be able to open up a little bit more compared to against Max, where it was more of a technical battle?
Yeah, well, I think Max is definitely a lot faster and a lot more technical striker than Ortega. So, you know, uh, I don't want to be too confident or anything else, but I think Alex is just going to be too technical, too fast, and he's going to give Ortega a hard time. I always say, unless you stand in front of Alex and feel that energy that he brings you, and the punches coming from all angles, it's a different thing. You can't train for that. You have to feel it.
Alex, height-wise, he's a little bit shorter than a lot of the other featherweights. Do you feel like that is an advantage? Because Henry Cejudo brings this up. Like, fighting the shorter guy, it could be an advantage for the shorter guy.
Well, it is sometimes. Well, it hasn't failed Alex, and I always, when he first started, I always used to say, you got to think of yourself like a Mike Tyson. You don't want to be bigger. You want to make yourself smaller, so you're harder to hit, and hit from different angles. And he does that to a T. I mean, he's no Mike. He's got his own style, but he comes off from moves his head to one side and punches from the other side. And does the same with the kicks. Angles off one way and kicks the other. He's very hard to read.
Yeah, with Brian Ortega, he seemed like he's hit like this next level in his career, and Alex has been running on this next level for a very long time now. Yeah. When they meet, man, it's just, I feel like it's going to be fireworks. Do you feel like there's going to be way more action compared to, let's say, the Max Holloway fights?
I think so. Yeah. Like I said, the Max has got a great fight IQ, and he changes. He can see that there's a pattern and changes midway. Alex does the same, and that's why a lot of the times these guys neutralize themselves out a bit. Where. Again, no disrespect to Brian, but I don't think he's striking. He's getting better, but we'll see on the night. He could, be on another level again. So, but at this stage, seeing Alex and seeing Brian, and not that we ever take anybody for granted. I think Alex is just on another level on his striking.
What do you think about this so-called cloud that's hovering around Alex, because of the Max Holloway fights, because those fights were so close, and there's this big group of people that believe that Max won the fight? What do you think about that? Does that ever get into Alex's head, do you think?
Nah. Probably the first 2 days after the fight. Mm-hmm. Then after that, it's like a water off a duck's back. We laugh about it. Honestly, we don't take anything for serious. We know who we are and what we like, and we respect Max and all that. But fans are going to be fans, and I just hope it brings a lot more interest, and these boys get paid a little bit more to meet up next time. That's what I want. If they think it's that bad, I think the two boys should get rewarded, for their efforts.
Definitely, they should get rewarded massively. I feel like if they do a third fight. Do you see that sometime down the line? Because Max is not a guy that's like extremely old or anything like that. He's still. Do you see him fighting for the title in the next fight, or do you feel like he does need another win under his belt? Because Alex beat him twice, man. It's hard to like justify that.
I'd like to see another fight. Max have another fight, and not that he doesn't deserve it, but we fought him twice, and not that we're scared or worried. We just like to fight somebody different, more than anything else. Just face a new challenge, But if we have to fight him, like I said, I think we should be rewarded for it. And look, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to Dana White and the rest of the matchmaking people. I think that's the fight that they want. But like I said, not that we're scared or anybody. We just like to face new challenges and fight new people. It's always exciting to set up for a different opponent. And yeah, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's their business.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense to do a third one.
Yeah,
for sure. Now with your guys, the rest of your guys' camp, you guys got a few weeks left. Are you guys gonna head out there a little bit early, or are you guys gonna stay there a little bit longer? What's the situation?
We're leaving Sunday. Yeah, we'll have to go out and Brad's fighting the following week, so we're out there to help Brad and corner Brad. And then we've got we're on the following week. So we had to go out a week earlier again because of the poor New Zealand guys. They couldn't get vouchers and everything, and they would have been stuck there for months on end, with their quarantine back home. So we've had to put our hands up and go and help the boys.
Oh, so Eugene and them, they're not going to be there for the couple weeks?
No, I think Eugene's leaving if he can't get his voucher. So we just had to, and Brad was going over by himself. So we're going over with Brad, and just, finish out the rest of our camp over there with all the boys. Jamie's coming over, Shane. So and we're bringing a few of the boys from the gym over. So, we'll just finish our camp over there.
Oh, that sounds perfect then. You don't have to worry about getting acclimated because you'll be out there for a very long time.
Yeah, it never really worries us. We've done it that many times that I don't know. We go there and we're the next day we're fine. We're on their time. We're doing their thing. It's never bothered us. The first time we went there, we went a few weeks early, and we realised after the second day we were good as gold. So and we've just done it that way ever since. This time it's more just to have Brad's back, and he's got a hard fight as well.
Now you got this title defense against Brian Ortega. It's a fresh matchup, like you said. You guys wanted one, and it's going to be an incredible fight, Joe. How excited are you to just be able to game plan against someone else and not Max Holloway?
Oh, it's good, And look, I love my jiu-jitsu, so I'm a big fan of Brian, and it's going to be a challenge. We've got to be aware of the guy. He is a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, and he can knock a submission from anywhere. So we're really aware of that, but we just think if Alex gets on top, he's very strong and very hard to get off you once you get on top. Do we want to go there? No, but if we have to, I feel that he is strong, very strong on top.
How hard is it to submit Alex Volkanovski? Because I could only imagine, because he's such a thick guy, and like you said, he's a stocky guy, and it's pretty much grappling like a big, thick log, right?
It is, and he's got no neck either, so it does make it hard to submit, someone like that, and then he's got these short little arms and short, strong little legs, so he's very hard to submit, very hard. Guys will get him there, but he just tenses up, and he's that solid and strong that it's very, very hard to submit him. Not saying you can't, but, when he's on, and he's very hard.
Who else do you see as guys down the line, that you would like to face as a coach, strategically preparing for different types of fighters? Who do you see in the featherweight division that interests you?
There's a lot of guys, everyone always calls out Zabit. I'd like that fight just because, he's got such a big hype about him, and he's supposed to be, he's an all-round type guy, sort of similar to Alex, where he's got very good, jiu-jitsu. He's not bad wrestling, and his striking's pretty good. I'd like to see that fight, and I think the fans more would love to see that fight, and it's something different that people haven't seen, and that's the way I look at it, Not like I said earlier, I'm not worried about Max either as Alex. We just like to fight different guys and make different game plans and get excited about it. But, if it has to happen down the line, Max is it,
All right, Joe Lopez, freestyle fighting. Always good catching up with you, Joe.
Thanks,
good luck, safe travels, because I know you're leaving soon. And, we'll speak soon again, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. Always a pleasure.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you